and how you're going to fund the rest of the project after you get the grant. So it could be anything. Like, you don't have to say like exactly this much money will come from my credit card or anything like that. It can just be, I have the funds to complete this. And then you just click submit, and that sends the application to staff basically, and it locks it, so you won't be able to edit it anymore. Yeah, so that's the application form and the portal basically. Another thing you can do in here, which is kind of cool, is if you do have a grant writer, they can register and then they can send you a request to associate with your profile. And that's how they will be able to basically fill in this application form for you. So you just need to have them send you a request, and then you'll find it here in the request manager. It'll say down here, request pending approval.
Bonnie, sorry to interrupt. I was just looking and I saw that the stream had it just came on now. There was a hiccup on there. Would we be able to start would I hate to do that, but would we be able to start again from the beginning of the discussion about the portal?
Oh yeah. Sure.
Sorry about that. I apologize to those who are joining in. Little bit of a mix-up on my end. I take that. I am sorry. And with that, I will turn it back over to Bonnie, who is, you know what? Actually, let's do the whole thing again properly.
Okay, start over.
Yeah. So let me do. I'm gonna take over for a second, and then I will get right back to you.
Okay.
All right. So again, I apologize for those who might be watching this now. My name is Alex Sandy. I'm the industry development coordinator here at Manitoba Music. I'm laughing because I had done this already and I made a mistake. So anyways, thank you for joining us. We're doing a little bit of a funding quick workshop. MFM, always when they're offering their wonderful funding that allows us Manitoba musicians to continue making the music and the art that we love, we try to do a little bit of an info session to kind of line up with grant writing incubators that we do through MusicWorks, and just info sessions like this that allow everybody, whether you're part of one of our grant writing incubator programs or you're applying on your own, to know all the ins and outs of everything that you're going to need to have the most successful grant writing experience that you can have. So what we decided to do here, like I said, is earlier we work with MFM to provide some of these info sessions before the deadline so you can apply on your own. Bonnie, the music programs coordinator from MFM, is here today to help us walk through everything. And I want to make sure that I have everybody here. It is perfect now. It looks like it's running smoothly. And Bonnie's going to walk us through their virtual portal and teach us a few little things that we might miss if we're trying to do this on our own. So it's really important that you know this. As you may have realized, this year they launched their brand new online portal, which makes everything so much easier for us to apply. But it also takes a little bit of a learning curve, not much, but just a bit if it's your first time doing it. So with that, Bonnie's going to help us walk through everything. So I'm adding to the stage Bonnie. Again, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for being so patient with all of us here. I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to allow you to do everything again that you had just done for us. Sorry about that. I apologize.
No, it's all good. Technology.
Yeah. Everybody in the very capable hands of Bonnie. I'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks again, Alex, for that intro, and happy to be here. And I'll start with the portal. So when you first want to get into the portal, this is the page you'll see. The link to the portal is on our website. So when you go to our website, mbfilmmusic.ca, you'll see a yellow how to apply button, and that will take you to the part of our website that explains getting into our portal. There's a video you can watch, which is going to basically just recap everything I'm going to do right now. And then there's also just written out instructions for people that need more than one reference. And it explains things a little bit better as well. Or not better, the same. It's the same. Okay, so here you are at our main landing page. If you are a new applicant, you're going to click this register button, and it's going to take you to these options. So you'll see there's two to choose from. So applicant is for all the artists that are going to apply for grants, and as well music companies that might be applying for our build program, which is the business development grant. I'll talk about all the other programs after this little run through here. But basically, most people are going to come in as applicants. So this includes people who have applied to our programs before, but not yet claimed their profile in the portal. And then grant writers would apply down here. So if you're going to write a grant on behalf of an artist, you register this way, and then I will show you in a little bit how to associate with that artist profile. So I'm going to start out as an applicant here. And then, so if you have applied for our grants before, we did import some of the, or all of the company names from our old program. So you just go in here and start typing in a whatever your business registration is. So whether that's a named company, or if you just were using your business number and didn't actually put a name on it, that will also be in here. So I'll just use my fake profile. I created this Lazy Cheetah Music, but basically you can see like it came up here in the search, so I can click on it, and this will automatically register me under that business name. So fill in all this contact information, click Not a Robot, and submit. And then that will send it back to MFM staff for review. If you were not imported from our previous system and you're brand new to the system, you've never applied for a grant before, then under this little instructions box here, you see this. If you can't find the name, click here to create a new applicant company profile. So you're just going to follow this link. And here's where you fill in your information. So business applicant name. So if you haven't yet registered as a business, you can still apply and create your profile in the portal. No problem. So you just put in your artist name as a placeholder until you get your business registration, and then later you can change it in the system. Fill in all your contact info. This part right here, are you applying to a music or film program? Make sure you pick music. Otherwise, it won't let you apply for music programs. If you are also a filmmaker, then you would have to start a different profile for that. Anyway, then you can click this copy address button, and it'll just refill in everything that you did at the top so that you don't have to type it again. And then Not a Robot, and submit again. And again, that sends it to staff for review. So this is only part one of a two-step process to get registered. So once you click this submit button, you'll receive an email from the system that also says thank you for registering and has a link to set your password. And then that will let you log in, but you'll actually see that it says you can't do anything. Like it'll say you're not an authorized user yet. And if you try to access your applicant profile, you won't have access to that yet either. So that's part one of like what staff also does. We authorize you as a user so that you can get back into the portal and fill in your applicant profile. So I'll just switch over to my other browser here. So when you log in, this is what you'll see. So at the beginning, this will have another message that says you're not an authorized user. And that just means you can't apply to the programs yet either. So when you click on music programs, you'll actually not see any of these apply now buttons. But that's okay. That's part two. So part two, once you are authorized as a user, you will get an email from me saying that I have granted your access. And then you just log in, and under your initial here in the top, you'll see applicant profile. And this info will be what you filled in previously. You can edit this at any time. Especially if you move, it's very important if you move to change your address. You'll see here that you had picked music, and then there's this spot to upload your business registration. So because this is a mandatory field, if you don't have your registration yet, you just have to upload a placeholder document. So it can just be a Word document or a PDF that says business registration pending. And then when you get the actual documents, you just swap them out. You get your business registration or incorporation documents through the Manitoba Companies Office. They are separate from us. There's a fee for registering. But the reason you have to have a business registration is because MFM's mandate is that we are funding businesses, not individuals. And then you fill in authorized company contacts. So this would be other band members. If you have a grant writer, you can put them in here, as well as their email addresses, which also helps me for when it comes to signing the contracts. The contracts all go out digitally as well. So if people who need to sign the contracts have their email addresses here, it just makes it easier for me to make sure those are going to the right people. Your bio goes in here, your stage name or your business name, if you're a company, goes in here. Your discography, so you just fill in all your sales and previous releases. And then your social media followers. So because I did this in advance, I don't have the little submit button down here, but when you log in, there will be a submit button, and that just sends it back to me again for review. And once I review your applicant profile, I mark it as complete on my side of things. And then when you log in again, that message that said you weren't authorized will be gone. And if it's not gone, it means I made a mistake. And you can just email me and say, hey, I think maybe forgot to flip something. So all the applications live here. This is where you'll see drafts that you've started. And then action items, that comes later. So once you're approved, your cost report draft will live here. And once everything's completed, they move to the closed and completed folders. So go into music programs, and this is where you can see all of them. So produce is the bottom one here because they're alphabetical. No, they're not even alphabetical. I don't know. Oh yeah, they are. Nope, promote should be underneath. Anyways, sidebar. So here you can see you can download the guidelines and you can download the budget template. And then you just click this apply now button and save a draft, which will fill in the information from your applicant profile. So it fills in your address, fills in your bio, your discography, and your social media stats. And then at the bottom, you just have to click that you agree to all of the guidelines, basically. And then you click on this project information, which is the actual application tab. So this is where you choose the level that you're applying for. And it is important to decide right at the beginning which level you're applying for, because if you say you start out with a demo application and then you decide that you actually want to go for the level 1, which is the commercial release one, the $3,000 level. If you have started to fill in information under the demo one and then you flip to a different level, it'll actually change your application a little bit. It'll hide some of the fields. So you just have to upload a couple of things again, like your demo songs. So it just saves you a little bit of extra work if you don't have to switch the level you're applying for. And then project title can just be your artist name and the level you're applying for, or if you already know the name of the song that you're applying for, if it's just a single, or the name of the album, you can put that in here. Project overview, genre, pick from this drop down. Pick the one that best suits your music, because that will determine which jury evaluates your application. And then this table to fill in all of your group members, hired musicians, other people that are working on the project. So it includes yourself. It includes all the people in your band, everyone on your recording team. And then down here, we have a section for your team, so your publicist, manager, agent, etc. If you don't have any of these folks in place yet, you can leave it as blank, or you can put not applicable. And then you get to the required documents section, which is where you upload your marketing plan, your lyrics and song treatments, team member resumes. So it can be your publicist, it can be your producer, everyone that you're working with. Past press, if you have other like reviews or like concert reviews, anything like that can go in there. And then letters of support. So this can be from anyone from the industry that you're working with, just, lending their support in letter form. Then we have your production staff. So producer, engineer, mixing, all that stuff goes in here. And then we ask if they're accredited with MFM. If you're working with someone that isn't accredited yet, it's very easy for them to become accredited. Just have them get in touch with me or Steven. There is an application to fill out, and then just a couple of other documents to submit. So it's very easy. It doesn't cost anything to become accredited other than getting a business registration if they don't have one already. Yeah. And then your recording schedule. So days in the studio, mixing, mastering, and then your release date. The release date is what we also use as your deadline for completion. And then your demo song info. So you upload the tracks here, fill in the song information, and then upload the budget that you filled in. Put in here if you've applied for any other funding. And then your financing plan, which is just a brief explanation of how you'll complete the project, other than with the grant money. And then you can save a draft and go back and edit it anytime you want before the deadline, which is January 18th at 5 o'clock. Because it's all automated in the system, it will actually close down at 5 o'clock and you won't be able to submit anything after that. So just keep that time in mind as well. And it is Central Time. So if you're working with a grant writer in another province, make sure that they know that it's 5 o'clock our time. And then when everything is done and you feel good about it, click that submit button and it sends it to staff and locks it for editing. So you won't be able to change anything after you click submit. If it's before the deadline and you realize something is missing or you forgot, you put in a different date or something like that, send me an email and I can bounce it back to draft for you. Other than that, once it's submitted, it's locked. So, so that's the application. This is what your home portal is going to look like. So you can see I have 3 drafts started here. I haven't submitted anything yet, but once you do submit that application, it'll move from drafts into submitted. And then the other piece of the portal would be if you are working with a grant writer, they have to also register in the portal. So they would come in through the other registration that is for grant writers. They do their info stuff, and then they would send you a request from their side of things using this request manager. So when you, as the artist, click on request manager, you'll see down here requests pending my approval. So that's where it'll say like the person's name, and that it basically they're just requesting permission to associate with your profile so that they can start applications on your behalf. And then what'll change in the application, just go back into here, So under this applicant information section on the application, it'll still say that you're the applicant, but the primary contact will then be the grant writer here. So that's the only thing that changes on that side of things. But you both get all the correspondence, and yeah. And then as a grant writer, they would use this building icon to choose which company they're writing a grant for. So grant writers can be associated with more than one applicant profile. They just have to send requests to each one individually and get it approved by those folks. So that's the portal, I think. I feel like that covers everything in here. So now I will flip over to my fancy PowerPoint presentation, which will just be an overview of the programs. So this year we changed the names of all the programs so that they were shorter. For anyone who has applied before, you know that most of them were 5 words or more long. So now there are these much nicer, shorter names. So Promote is the marketing program, Perform is the tour, Build was the business development one, and Produce Out of Province were the 2 recording programs. So Produce, this is the important one that we're going to talk about because the deadline is coming up January 18th at 5 o'clock. It's a Thursday. So this is where you get your recording funding, and it is a juried program. So I sort of touched on that briefly, but it goes to a panel of jurors, 3 people on each one, and they evaluate the demo songs, the lyrics, the marketing plan, especially for the details on how you're going to promote the release when it comes out, or if it's a demo, who you're going to send it to, what is the purpose of the demo. So there's 3 deadlines every year. Our fiscal starts April 1, so our deadlines are May, September, January. So this one coming up in January is the last one for this year. The deadlines for next year will be announced closer to April, but we generally stick to the May, September, January dates. So here we have the funding caps. So the level 1 demo is for $2,000. Level 1, which used to be the level 1 commercial release, is $3,000. Level 2 is $10,000. Level 3 is $20,000. Deadline January 18th. And then the out of province one also has a demo, a level 1 and a level 2, with the same funding amounts and the same deadline. So what you need to submit: demos of songs. So rough demos, they don't have to be perfectly recorded in the studio. A lot of people record on their phones or just on their laptops. And then part of your application is the song treatment. And that's where you would talk about how you're going to improve those songs in the studio with the funding. So whether it's, adding backing vocals, adding live drums instead of the pre-recorded ones from your laptop, adding a sweet guitar solo, anything like that would go into your song treatments. Your bio. So this should just be, your general artist bio. It does not need to be individual resumes of each person in the band. Resumes of production staff, your producer, your mixer. You can also include your publicist, your manager, anyone else you're working with. Your budget is an estimate of the cost. So definitely get quotes from the studio you want to work with, the producer you want to work with. It's all laid out in our template. And then letters of support, which I sort of talked about before. Then your marketing plan. So this is where you want to go into as much detail as possible about releasing and promoting the album when it's done. So this is just a general overview of what to include. So, your social media strategy, your ads and promoted posts, video plans, radio strategy, streaming and playlisting strategy, publicity, team information, live performance plans. Like tour plans are very important. So that includes not just tours, but showcasing, festivals, that kind of stuff too. And I always recommend having a timeline for the release. So, you know, when's the first single coming out? When's that video coming out? When's the next single? When's that video? When are you touring? It doesn't have to be, you know, these exact dates at these venues in these cities. It can just be, you know, let's say the single is going to come out in May. So maybe you're going to go to Vancouver and back, just do a Western Canada tour in May, and then play some summer festivals. It's good to list them. Like, don't just say, I'm going to play summer festivals. Like, list out which ones you want to play. Because as I had said before, like the more detail, the better. So, you know, what radio stations are you targeting? Is it college radio? Is it commercial radio? You know, if you can get the names of playlists that you are hoping to get your song onto, that's also really good. Yeah. So just as much info as possible. If you're hiring a publicist, who are they and what are they going to do? It's also good if you can get even just a rough draft of what your publicist will do for you as well as your own marketing plan that you're going to write out. And then for budget information, you can include donated costs, which would be anything that normally you would get charged, but they're giving you for free. Like if they give you a discount, if your producer gives you a discount on their fees, for example, that would count as a donated cost. An admin fee, 15% of budget up to $1,500. So that's automatically calculated. You don't need an invoice or anything for that one. You'll see it in the budget template. It's one of the last line items that calculates for you. And then artist fees are capped at $300 per day. So you can put in a fee to pay yourself to be in the studio. You can also claim per diems, which is $45 per day instead of keeping any food receipts. Because you don't have to keep, like if you bought sandwiches that day for lunch or whatever, you don't need that. And then related party expenses are not permitted. And then just a recap. So funding levels again here. Late submissions are not accepted. That is important because with the portal, it is supposed to be automated, but sometimes it doesn't shut down on time like it's supposed to. Or I don't know, like there could be glitchy things. So we do, when an application is submitted, it does have the time stamped on it. So anything that's after 5 won't be accepted. It'll automatically be declined, but you can apply. You can always apply again at the next deadline. So January 18th at 5. Then just to run through our other programs. So Promote is the marketing one. It also includes content creation and the video production. So music videos, lyric videos, animated videos, all of that falls under Promote now. So if you have an MFM funded current release, so something that was funded through the Produce program, then you're eligible for up to $10,000. And if you did not receive funding through the Produce program, then you're eligible for 5. You can apply to the Promote program more than once. You can have 2 open at the same time. So if you come in for a video and then you want to come in for like a marketing thing where you're doing Facebook ads or something, you can have both of them on separate applications, or you can, if you already know your timeline is going to overlap, you can put them all on the same one. Then our other program is Perform, which is the tour support. So anything related to tours would be eligible. I guess just to go back to Promote, eligible expenses would be, you know, hiring a publicist, hiring a radio tracker, any kind of advertising, not merch. Merch is not eligible under any of our programs, but like graphic design or rebranding or a new website would be okay. Like graphic design for posters, not for merch. And then Perform. So eligible expenses for Perform would be like renting a vehicle, your accommodations, airfare, taxis, parking. And here you can also claim that $300 per show artist fee and $45 per day per diems. In Canada, it's $60 in the States and $100 anywhere else. And then for funding, it's up to $15,000 for the year for artists with a funded album or single from the Produce program, or $75 for anyone who does not have funded recordings. And that's for the whole year. So perform like promote, you can have more than one open at a time. The rules on perform are also that there can't be more than 7 days between the tour dates. So, if you're going on tour in January and then you're going on tour in July, you'd have to apply for those on separate grants. You can't put them all together. And then Build is the business development program. So that's for music companies, not for artists. You have to be working with local bands or local artists to apply for this program. So there's a level 1, which is up to $3,000, and a level 2, which is up to $15,000. Deadline will be announced in April with our recording deadlines, but it's usually in June. So that's something to keep in mind. And eligible expenses there would be like rent, office rent, so some office supplies like paper and pens and that kind of thing, computers, salaries, and some promotion that is related only to the business, not to the artists that they're working with, because the artists would come in for their own promote grants for their costs. And then just some other funding agencies you can apply to. So there's Canada Council, Manitoba Arts Council, Winnipeg Arts Council. There's MFM, us, Factor, Manitoba Music has showcase funding. And here's the link to our website and the link to the portal. You can email Stephen or I anytime with your questions. We're happy to read through your marketing plans in advance of the deadline and give you feedback. That is everything, I think. Yeah. Oh, you're muted.
We had, that was awesome. We had a couple people. There's some questions in there happening now. We have a question from Cam. It says, does a strong social media following weigh heavily in a jury's final decision?
It's part of their decision, but it won't be the only thing. Okay. It's part of the artist's track record to see how active they are. So if you're just starting out, then obviously your numbers aren't going to be huge. It is good to have strong social media numbers, but it's also, something that you're going to put in your marketing plan as one of your goals. I guess, I didn't talk about goals. It's good to have in there, I currently have 20 Facebook followers, and by the time my first single comes out and I have done, all this promotion, I hope to have 100 Facebook followers. Or the goal is to have 100 or 1,000, whatever it is.
So it's just really important to show that they've kind of thought through these things, and they actually have some. Okay. Cam, who asked the first question, also has another question. Okay. How important is it to have an accredited studio locked in at this stage? Anything we need from a producer or a studio beyond a quote and CVs?
They have to get accredited as soon as possible.
Okay.
If you apply and the studio isn't accredited yet, that will be a red flag in a way, because if they don't get accredited, then you can't record there.
Okay. But
yeah,
I guess he's asking, so right now, assuming that potentially the studio he's planning on recording on or at is not accredited, they could go through that process maybe right now.
Yeah.
Now, if he is successful with the grant, at that point, is it still too late for the studio to try and get accredited if they want to try and do the work there?
No, it wouldn't be too late as long as they haven't started any of the recording yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good news. So
Yeah.
hopefully that answers that question. And the accreditation process is pretty simple, right?
Yeah, it's really simple. There's an application form to fill out that basically just asks for the studio information, who they've worked with before, a list of their equipment, and then a declaration that they are Manitoba owned and based.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it's pretty easy, and you just email that to us. That part doesn't go through the portal. We haven't built that in yet. That's a future thing. But yeah, it's just a PDF on our website to fill in, and then send it as an email, and Stephen will review it and be in touch with the studio, and then they get added to the list. So
Okay.
it's very simple, usually pretty fast.
Awesome. Another question: does touring need to be a big part of the marketing application? If the goal is a strong single promotion blitz, along with networking and professional development, is that an effective strategy?
It can be, like, it'll depend on the genre that the artist is working in, of course. But even then, like, talking about showcasing or festivals is still a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, because the jury likes to see that the music is getting out of Manitoba in some way.
Nice.
So yeah, if it's a really strong, like, social media and playlisting push, then that can be enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Are we allowed to use funding to work with international team members? Is one of the questions here.
Yes. So for produce, the producer, the engineer, and the mixing have to be in Manitoba. So
Okay.
if it's an out of province producer, they have to come here to do the work.
Okay.
If it's for marketing and your publicist is based in the States, that's totally fine.
Okay. Perfect. Another follow-up question, or anywhere. Okay. If my studio of choice is booked up, should my own timelines in my application move to match them, or should I have a backup studio? Do multiple quotes help?
Oh, yes. So if you definitely know that you want to work in that studio, then you would pick dates for when they can have you in there. For
Okay.
sure. You don't have to have a backup studio or backup dates. You have 2 years from your letter of commitment date until the project has to be released in
Okay.
full. So as long as those dates aren't going to be like outside of that 2-year window, you're good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Another question. What about mastering? We have a guy who is based out of the US.
Yes, mastering can be done outside of the province, as well as manufacturing.
Okay.
So, especially for people who are doing vinyl, there's no vinyl plant in Canada.
Sweet.
So, yeah, it's just the mixing and main recording that has to be done here.
Perfect. Yeah, and again, that was, like you said, that was in the province. So if they were working with someone from out of the country, that person would have to come into Manitoba to work on it.
Exactly.
Perfect. I know I'm reading the comments. There was an issue with the looking at the portal. I'm seeing that everybody's saying that there was something that was going on with the screen share. So they missed some of the stuff looking at it, but it also says that they think that they could figure it out. Is there like a quick rapid fire through, if you pulled up the portal again, just kind of point and shoot so that they could see some things? I think everybody gets it though.
Okay, like just the registration part?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do that. I'll
Okay.
pull this over so we can.
Wait. I unshared my screen. Here we go.
No problem. Cam wants to say thank you for the answers. So you're welcome.
Here we go. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, this is the main landing page. the register button. Artists will come in as applicants here. And then if the artist has previously applied for grants, they can search for their business name here and it'll fill in. So this was my fake one again. If the artist is brand new to MFM, has never applied for anything, then you click here in this instructions box here. Click here to start a whole new one. So you fill in your business or applicant name. So if you don't have a business registration yet or an incorporation, then you put in your stage name or your band name. You can go in here and then you would just update it later when you get your business registration. And fill in all the contact info and then click the submit button at the bottom here. Yeah.
Sweet.
Should I go back to the application one too, or?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe let's do that just to be safe. The comments are looking good, but I just want to make sure that they have that.
Okay. Yeah. So that was step one. So that's your user profile. Then step two, once usually me, I will approve your access. And then you can log in again and you can go to your initial here in the top corner and click on applicant profile. And then this is the info that was already filled in. This is where you can change your business name once you have your registration. And then you just upload your documents here and fill in all these fields. So authorized company contacts would be other people in the band, or if you have a grant writer, fill in their info, their names and their email addresses here. Company bio, stage name, discography, and social media numbers here. And then there will be a submit button. So you can send that back to staff again for review, and then I will mark it as complete. And then the next time you log in, it won't have that "you're not an authorized user" message here. And then you can apply for the grants. So in the music programs here.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to quickly ask everybody who is watching if they have one last question. I know we had a couple in there. If not, that's okay too. We could probably start to wrap this up. And Bonnie did share her and Steven's contact, both of them, that if you want to get in contact with them before you submit to have some questions answered, feel free. And for those of you who are signed up for a grant writing incubator, please talk to your mentors, use them. We got you some of the best ones that were available, and we're really happy to have them to share their knowledge with you. Also, last but not least, if you want to talk to anybody else, feel free to reach out to us here at Manitoba Music. It is also our job to help out with the process and make sure that we can provide the information that you need. So whatever it is, whether you're contacting MFM or you're contacting Manitoba Music or you are participating in one of the lovely programs that is offered by either of us, we wish you luck. We're here to support and let us know whatever we can do to help you out. Thank you for your time, Bonnie.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thank you to everybody that is going to apply and watch this and learn from that. We're going to keep doing it and we're going to keep helping you out. So other than that, I wish everybody a happy, healthy, Wednesday afternoon and rest of your life. Okay. Oh, and there you go. Some people jumping in and saying thank you. So that's perfect. All right, everybody. I wish you luck. Bonnie, again, thank you and have a good day.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See ya.